Hey everybody, Mr. Kennedy here. Today we're going to be learning how to draw a cartoon giraffe.
Alright, my friends, so to get started on drawing our cartoon giraffe, the first thing we're going to want to do, because giraffes have really long necks and they're very tall, is we're going to want our paper to be portrait style. That means the long side is going up and down. Alright, so again, I always like to start with the head whenever I'm drawing anything. So we're going to start up towards the top of our paper, again, because we want to make a long neck for a very tall giraffe. So not all the way at the top, down a little bit. I'm going to start with a nice big circle. And again, we want to make sure we're drawing lightly today because some of these lines we will be erasing. All right. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the left side of our circle, right? And from this side, almost in the middle, we're going to make a line that's going to curve out. And we're going to bring this line over, away from our circle, and let's curve it down. Next, let's bring this line back in, all the way towards our circle, and right before it touches, we're just going to curve it up and stop right there. This is going to be for kind of the snout of the giraffe's head, and this ending is going to be where our mouth is. So now, right underneath this line, let's make a one, not right from the end, but in a little bit. We're going to come out and down, almost kind of making the same curve that we made up here. But let's loop this around. We're going to bring it up a little bit, and we'll bring it back down, kind of bringing it right back into that circle we made before. And we can darken this line here, coming up just a little bit for our giraffe's jaw. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm going to erase this part of my circle that was kind of separating the circle from the snout area that we just drew. I'm also going to erase this little bit behind my jaw. All right, now giraffes kind of weird noses. They don't really have a nose. It's more of just their nose holes or their nostrils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a kind of like a sideways teardrop right here where we would see one of their nostrils. All right, let's give them, now giraffes, they're not necessarily horns, but they do have these two big things coming out of the top of their head. So right here, inside of our circle, this part is kind of important, that we're starting inside of our circle. Let's make two lines that are going to go straight up, right next to each other. And what we'll do is we'll erase the little bit of circle that's in between those two lines. Oops. And we're going to make almost like a circle shape around it to kind of close off the top of those two lines. Now, this is going to be for I'm just going to call them horns, horn on the, one side of his head. Let's draw another horn for the other side of our giraffe's head. Now, when we do this, we're not going to start inside the circle, and the horn we draw is going to look smaller than this one. So coming in front of this first horn we drew, I'm going to draw two lines going straight up. Again, it's a lot smaller than the first one I drew. And again, I'm just going to make a circle shape to close off the top of those two lines. Might be a little too big. All right. Now, let's quickly give our giraffe some ears. So right underneath this first horn we drew, I'm going to make a kind of a small rainbow line that's going to come outside of my giraffe's head. From the tip of that, or the outside tip of that rainbow line, let's draw another line that's going to curve back towards this line, doing the same curve, same upward curve, rainbow curve, smile curve, or frown line, excuse me, but a little bit smaller. This is going to be for the tougher part of our giraffe's ear. Now again, from this outside tip, let's make another line that's going to come back inwards. This time we're making a smile line. And we'll end it right there. Notice none of these three lines are connecting down here. And what we want to do now is just erase the little bit of circle that's technically behind our ear. Now what I'll do is I'll darken this part so it stands out a little more. All right, now we want to do this. Well, we're not really going to see this same ear on the other side because of the way our giraffe is standing. But what we can do is draw kind of the end point of this ear on the other side. This one's going to be a lot easier because we're not going to do the inside part. Instead, kind of right in this little area between my ear and my first horn, I'm just going to draw a teeny tiny rainbow line and a really tiny smile line to bring it back into my head. That's about it. Next, let's draw an eye for our giraffe before we get into the body. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a really small rainbow line. Not going up a lot. Giraffes kind of have really lazy looking eyes. Now from the end of these two lines, let's make a little line that's going to curve up, almost like for our giraffe's eyelid. Now this one goes in towards the middle, so will the line I draw on the other side. Almost like we're making a half circle, but again, we're not going to connect these two sides. Now underneath that first rainbow line we drew, let's draw a nice big circle, or at least what will look like part of a circle, right? We're not going to see the part that's going to go underneath what would be our giraffe's eyelid. From there, I like to draw just a little tiny circle. That's going to serve as our highlight point, so when we color in our eye later, we're going to leave that little circle white so that kind of looks like we have a little light shining in our eye. Gives our giraffe a little bit more direction of where he might be looking or where she might be looking. All right, next, we want to draw our giraffe's neck. So right from here, where I have this back end of my circle, the back end of my giraffe's head, I'm just going to bring it straight down. And if you drew your giraffe like I did, you might have drawn him too close to the side of your paper. So I'm going to bend my giraffe's neck a little bit, and I'm going to bring his body forward so I don't go off the page. But I just want to draw a really long line going straight down. Now, almost underneath where my eye would be, not from the end of our giraffe's jaw, right about here, let's draw another line, again, kind of going straight down. Again, this is going to give our giraffe his neck, or her neck. Giraffes also usually have like a line of hair back here on the back of their neck. So what I'm going to do, right about here, a little bit underneath where my ear is, I'm going to make a line that's going to curve out. And let's make another one down here at the bottom. And then let's draw a long line to connect them. Now we are going to color this long rectangle in later to give it some color, but we do want to give it a little bit of detail to show that there might actually be hair here. So not along the whole rectangle, but every so often I'm going to make some little lines. Just coming out the back of my giraffe's neck towards the end of that rectangle, just showing that there are some lines here that this is hair. All right, and again, we'll come back to that later. Now what we want to do and again, very lightly, because we're going to change this shape a bit, is we want to draw an oval underneath our giraffe's body. Notice my oval is going sideways. It's also not a perfect oval. Again, we are going to be changing some of the shape later, so please draw lightly. All right. Now this is the kind of the base for my giraffe's body. First, let's put some legs on him or her so we have a little bit more to work with. So kind of right in the middle of my neck, I'm going to bring my finger down, and right about there is where I'm going to start my first leg. Now again, I'm starting this leg inside of my rectangle. I'm going to draw what's going to kind of look like a letter U, but I'm going to leave a little space in between. And in that space, I'm going to draw 2 lines that are going to come straight down. Giraffes have long, skinny legs. We can erase the little bit of the rectangle, or oval, excuse me, that's in between our 2 lines for our leg. Now at the bottom, we do want to give our giraffe a little hoof. An easy way to do that would be right towards the bottom. I'm going to draw kind of like 2 triangle shapes that are going to come inwards and then back out. So come in, out, and then let's just draw a little line to close off at the bottom. And then right above it, right before we started, almost looks like an X. Let's close that off. All right, let's draw another front leg for our giraffe. Now, because this other leg is going to be on the other side of our giraffe, we're not going to see the whole thing. So instead, what we're going to do is right next to this line, let's draw another one going straight down. And again, similar to the first one, let's make a line that's going to come in, over, back out, and close it off at the bottom. And again, we can draw another line up here. So again, we know where our hoof is. We are going to leave this line we do not want this leg to connect to the body. We want a line here at the bottom of our giraffe's body to kind of separate it. Again, to help us know that this leg is on the other side. All right, let's do our back legs now. Now, back legs on any animal are always a little bit larger. So we're gonna make this similar U shape, but a little bit bigger. Again, for this first leg, we're starting inside our oval. Let's bring our line straight down. We'll erase the little bit of oval that's in between. And again, just like we did our front legs, let's come in, back out on both sides, and we'll close it off. And we'll make a little line right above it. Again, for our other back leg, we're going to do it just like we did this front one. We're not going to see the whole leg because of where it is on our giraffe. So right next to this front leg, I'm going to draw another line going straight down. I'm going to come in, come back out, and over. And again, we'll make that line sealing off our hoof. And again, we do want to keep a line here, kind of separating our body from the second leg. I'm just going to make, now right here we have our belly is kind of flat. I'm going to change that a little bit. I'm going to just curve it just a little bit. So my giraffe isn't maybe so fat. Make him a little skinnier. On the back side of him, I'm going to do something similar. Right around where the back leg is here, let's come back up. And I'm gonna bring my line in a little bit underneath where I made that oval before. And I'll curve it right up here to connect right where my hair kind of ends. Then we can erase the rest of that oval that, again, we no longer need. That's why it helps, again, to draw lightly. Now giraffes have skinny, tiny tails. So let's quickly add one. So right here on the very back of our giraffe, I'm gonna make a line that's gonna come out, and I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna bring it over just a little bit, and then let's bring that line right back up next to where it started. Again, giraffes have very skinny tails, but they have like a little hairball on the end of them. So I'm just gonna draw some lines like this to represent a little bit of hair there on the end of my giraffe's tail. All right, we're almost done. One of the last things we need to do before we can start coloring him or her are giraffes have spots. Similar to a cheetah, they have these weird shaped spots, not necessarily circular, but organic shaped, all over the body. Organic shape meaning they don't have pointy sides, there's no corners to them. So all the shapes I'm about to draw are gonna be kind of smooth, they're gonna be rounded. They're gonna be some weird looking shapes, but there will be no straight lines. There will be no corners, no hard edges. These shapes, again, I want them to be kind of organic. So this might be an example of an organic shape up here in the corner, right? A shape that has no pointy corners, no straight lines. These are the kind of shapes I want to draw all over my giraffe. So again, if it looks like I'm going fast, that's because I'm fast forwarding this part. Please take your time. All right, and like that, we have our giraffe drawn. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to trace and color him in.
I hope you guys had fun today learning how to draw a cartoon giraffe with me. I hope you guys stay safe, you keep drawing, and I'll see you next time.